back towards Grand Park in front of City Hall. But it's splintered into so many areas, it's become a problem. Just a moment ago, we saw about 40 LAPD helicopters heading into some response area where they thought maybe the crowd was going to get onto the freeway. We see a lot of on and off ramps from the 110 and the 101 freeway now being shut down. So unless you're coming to the protest, don't come to downtown. You could get stranded very easily. We've seen a lot of that. Also, as far as travel is concerned, now I would avoid the 101 and I would avoid the 110. The Santa Monica Freeway and the Golden State Freeway are going to be fine. And this shot really doesn't give it justice as to how many people are here, because the way it winds around down Broadway, down to 5th, towards Pershing Square, this is headed back, I believe, maybe on 1st Street, if I'm not mistaken, and then headed back towards Grand Park. But it really gives you an idea. It's actually West Temple. It gives you an idea just how many people have responded, and certainly it's very challenging for law enforcement. They really like to keep somewhat of a cap on this as far as where the crowd goes, but that's going to become difficult as it gets bigger. As you can tell, they'll start back at Grand Park. Now they're leaving Grand Park, and this has always been a problem. On Spring, going to the north as we pan to the left, this is where we had a lot of protesters get off of Spring towards the 101 freeway and then onto the freeway. So CHP, they're probably going to get set up right in here very quickly. They're not going to let the protesters on the freeway, or I should say they're going to do their best to make sure they do not, because that has been a problem in the past. But the crowd has just been going in all sorts of directions. It does not look organized to me by any means, and there are hundreds of thousands of people. I think it's fair to say we have at least 100,000 people that have come out so far for this protest.
I think by far we're looking at about 1,000 people just outside City Hall, and this stretches at least several miles as they seem to be looping around downtown Los Angeles. Scott, thank you for that coverage, and you're right. Anytime we see people leaving City Hall and moving north on Spring, as we're looking at right there in that gap in that corridor, that could be problematic as they make their way towards the 101 freeway. We hope that their movement stops right about here. You don't know what they have in mind. This obviously doesn't seem like a crowd that is intent on taking over a freeway, but how do you really, how do you mark that? And I guess their actions will do so as they approach the end. Right there, the overpass on 101, where it was a site of such destruction and confrontation last weekend. Several CHP cruisers just lost under a barrage of rocks and scooters and debris set on fire as they were getting protesters off the 101. So here we have people gathered on that overpass with signs and flags. We'll see how many people join this little gathering here and whether it becomes a problem for the traffic moving on the 101.
Let's check in with Annabelle Munoz, live on the ground in downtown Los Angeles. Annabelle, can you tell us exactly where you are right now?
Yeah, we are at 5th and Broadway. You can see the crowd really all around me. And I was telling you earlier that when we got here, we really saw a diverse crowd in every way. We saw very young people, a toddler on her mother's shoulders. We saw also the elderly. I saw a woman who was pushing her walker and making her way to the protest, talking about why it was so important for her to be here. And now I'm joined by a grandfather and his granddaughter. We have Amado and Malaya with me today here from Los Angeles. Tell me why you decided to come out as a family.
Because we are against what is happening with the Trump immigration policy. It's just, to me, it's inhumane. And I think about my granddaughter, our families here, they're walking around. So that's why we're here. We're here to support. And it's wonderful.
Malaya, what is it like to be out here with your grandfather and with people from all over Southern California?
It's great. I was raised in a very immigrant strong. They go into the workforce and stuff and fight for our people. So it's very much in me just to be here and peacefully protest in the way we can.
Yeah, you know, the theme today of this protest is No Kings, right? As the President of the United States is holding this military parade in Washington, D.C. And at the same time, people are talking about all sorts of issues that have brought them out here, whether it's immigration. I spoke with someone who's here from Skid Row and talked about the need for resources and support in that area. What are some of the things that you're thinking about? Does this No Kings banner or theme also resonate with you?
As a younger person, things like this, we only see it in movies. So it's insane for it to come to life and then see what Trump's doing with the whole birthday stuff. He does truly believe and I believe that he thinks he is a king. So that's the message we're trying to get across of just like, you know, we're for the people, and that's what it should be.
Thank you so much for your time to both of you. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to add?